Hello and welcome to another episode of the Playlist Podcast with me, Gemma Roots. Again, we aren't joined by Jack this week, but he will be back at the end of the year for our special awards ceremony nominations. So please look forward to that. Again, for all of you that have seen on our social media over the last few weeks, we want you guys to help us with the nominations for this year's awards. So if you have any nominations or categories that you would like us to put forward for the awards, please let us know in the comments on our posts. And if you want to DM us, that's fine as well. We just want to get you guys involved in this year's awards and make you feel like you're part of the show again. Um, but now we are joined by our special guest for this week's episode. We are joined by Stephanie Caprara. Hello,
Hi.
how are
Hi, Gemma.
you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. You?
Good,
Um,
thank you.
for all of our listeners out there, did you just want to quickly introduce yourself and what you do?
Yes, my name is Stephanie Caprara. I'm a singer-songwriter from Canada, and I'm also a vocal coach, and I also teach piano and ukulele.
Oh, brilliant. Um, so what made you decide to pursue a career in music?
I began piano lessons at around 8 or 9 years old. I was always singing, even when I was young. And I remember a family vacation when I was about 8 years old. We were staying at a resort and there was a band performing. I was up on stage with other kids, and the singer held up the mic to me, and I started singing. Everyone was very surprised, including my parents, because I was always a very shy kid. But in that moment, I was not, and I stole the show.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
yeah, it's a very funny story. And I also participated in talent shows when I was in high school. At 14, I began taking voice lessons. And at 16, I studied with a master voice coach.
Hmm.
And I stayed under his direction for 7 years. It was 7 years of intense vocal technique training. And he basically taught me everything I know.
Oh, wow. Um, So you said that you do lessons in singing, piano, and ukulele. What
Yes.
what made you decide to go into teaching?
Well, teaching is very rewarding, and it's a form of giving back and passing the torch to the next generation of artists and musicians. I enjoy watching my students improve their skills and build confidence. And I feel like music education is really important. Studies have proven that music keeps your brain engaged, it can help with memory, reduce anxiety, pain, etc. But I think that if you really want to become a professional musician, training is absolutely imperative, even for singers.
Oh, brilliant. Um, so what would you say is your favorite thing to teach?
Oh, that's hard. I like everything, but probably my favorite thing is the voice.
Hmm. So what advice do you give to like a person that's just started your lessons? What advice do you give them to start off with?
Well, the most important thing is practice. If you're going to study an instrument or train your voice, you really have to practice at least every day. That's
Hmm.
really the most important advice I would give.
Oh, brill. Um, and what about with an instrument, would you say that's the same thing, like a lot of practice, or is there any other advice that you would give to someone that perhaps wants to learn like the ukulele, guitar, or piano?
Well, no matter what instrument you're learning, it's important that you find an experienced and skilled teacher and basically just start taking lessons. And yeah, I mean, practice is essential for growth. So the best musicians spend hours practicing.
Um, so moving on to your music,
Mhm.
um, who would you say are your musical inspirations?
Oh, Prince, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, Shaka Khan, Celine Dion. Basically, everyone who belts and sings really high.
Has it changed over the years, like from when you first started doing music? Have your inspiration slightly changed from then to now?
I mean, I kind of I listen to everything, so I'm very open-minded when it comes to music.
Mm,
In terms of the newer artists, I really like Ariana Grande. I like Bruno Mars. So I mean, I listen to everything really,
mm. Yeah, I agree.
because I
When
feel like you
yeah,
can learn from different genres of music too. So, everything, every genre is important, and it
mm,
has its qualities. So, yeah, I mean, I'm open to everything.
yeah. Um, I understand. Like, before we started doing the podcast, I just listened to pop, and
Hmm.
from doing the podcast and getting to meet you guys, who are independent, you've all got different genres of music that you're into, and the podcast has allowed me to explore a bit more into like indie rock, uh, more pop, but more like different sounds. And
Hmm.
yeah, the influences that you guys choose for your music is just amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so you released your last single back in 2020
Hmm.
called "Let Me Know." Can
Yes.
you tell us a bit about the song?
So the song was released during the lockdown era of the current pandemic. I began writing it a few years before its release with Rizwan, who's another Canadian artist. And we had never completed it. And when 2020 came, we decided to finish it and release it. Um, this song is about a man who has commitment issues, doesn't know what he wants, plays games, and essentially wastes time.
Mm.
So I took this concept and I gave it a comedic twist. In the chorus, I sing, "If you want me, just let me know. If you want me, just tell me so. No more guessing games, just let me know." So it's kind of like basically saying, "What do you want?"
Mm. um,
It's like, "Tell me what you want or just
yeah,
leave me alone," kind of thing.
yeah. um, so it's very fitting with the the time that we were in. Is that sort of the way that you go with your writing process? Is there a specific way that you write a song?
Yes, I write in various ways. So, for instance, if someone sends me an instrumental track, then I write melody and lyrics. If I'm writing from scratch or by myself, then I will sit at the piano and compose music and then add melody and lyrics. Sometimes I will write melody and lyrics first and then compose the music. Um, I've had songs come to me in dreams or while I'm driving or just doing anything. I record voice notes on my phone. Basically, inspiration can literally strike at any time, and you have to be prepared for it.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's lovely to because we ask this question to all the musicians that come on, and it's so cool to see how everyone writes their songs. Everyone is really different,
Hmm.
and I I really understand the way that you write a song. I think if I was to be a songwriter, which I won't be because I'm not very good, I I I would do exactly what you're doing, and even like doing like voice notes and stuff. I'm like that with the podcast. If I get an
Hmm.
idea, I write it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, exactly. And I really like collaborating with other artists because you learn from each other.
Mm. Would you like to do more collaborations in the future?
Yes, absolutely.
Who would be your dream musician to collaborate with?
Oh my gosh. Alive or dead?
Either.
Okay. Okay, alive, I would go with Mariah Carey, just because, she was like my favorite female singer when I was a kid. Like, she was like the first female singer. My mom bought me an album, and I just listened to that album over and over. So I love Mariah Carey. It would be a dream to collaborate with her. Um, and someone who's no longer with us, Prince. I
Oh
mean, he
yes.
was a genius, and it would have been like a complete dream of mine to collaborate with him.
Oh wow, that would be such a really good collaboration.
Hmm.
Um, so um, your last single was in 2020. Have you got any plans to release any more music soon?
Yes, absolutely. I'm always writing, I'm always working on new stuff, and I like to put out quality, so I take my time to
Mm,
release. I don't release music every month. Making music is very expensive, and
it
the
is.
return, yeah, unfortunately, and the return for indie artists is the opposite. So it's something I have to invest in out of my own pocket. So I prefer to release quality over quantity.
Mm,
But um, but more music is coming next year. Rest assured. Yes.
brill. um, so if you're going to be releasing music, then are you looking at doing live shows, or is that not something that you'd feel comfortable doing?
Oh, I've done many live shows over the years. It's over 20 years that I've been doing this. Yes, of course, live shows, of course. I mean, obviously, I've taken a slight break now because of,
Mm,
the whole pandemic
yeah.
situation. I don't want to get sick, so I'd rather wait a little bit until, the situation is more under control.
Hmm. Yeah, good idea. I mean,
I mean,
over
as a
here,
singer, I mean, that's the worst thing, right?
yeah, I can't imagine what it's like for like musicians, like that fear of, oh, if I do a show, I might get sick. But if
Well,
on like,
I get, I mean, I'm vaccinated, so I mean,
yeah,
obviously that helps. But I mean, for a singer, it's a big deal. Like
mm,
respiratory viruses are a huge deal for singers because it takes time to recover from that. The
yeah,
coughing. When you cough, your vocal cords actually slam together, and it causes edema on the cords, so they're swelling, and you kind of have to wait it out for the swelling to go down. Like the coughing has to stop, and then you have to wait for the swelling to go down before you start singing again. It's a huge ordeal.
yeah. And I mean, doing a show as well it does impact you financially as well, because for an indie artist, you have to have the finances to do that show.
Of course. Yes. I mean, everything, like I said, for indie artists, everything is coming out of our pocket, of course.
Mm,
So it's very expensive. Promotion is very expensive. Production is very expensive. Absolutely.
mm. Um, so one final question that we like to ask the musicians that come on. Um, is there any advice that you would give to a musician that's just starting out in their music career?
I think it's really important that you know who you are from the beginning. This business can be very dangerous if you're a woman. It can be cruel.
Mm,
So it's important that you know who you are going into this business. Make sure that you're making decisions that you will be able to live with, that you can sleep soundly at night. Um, Unfortunately, this business is not always about talent. It's about who you know, being at the right place at the right time, or what you're willing to do for fame.
mm,
So, like I said, it's important you know who you are and that you're doing this from the heart, really, because it feeds your soul. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's really about. Making art in general, making music, it's about feeding your own soul
mm.
and putting out like positive messages through your music.
Oh, that's
So make sure you know why you're doing this. That's what I'm saying.
oh,
Um,
brilliant.
yeah, and work on your craft. Like I said, practice is very important. Training, yeah. But above all else, to thine own self be true. Seriously,
It's
that's the
interesting.
most important thing.
Yeah. It's interesting what you say about female musicians because
Hmm.
doing this, um, surprisingly, there's not many female independent musicians.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially over here, in the
Okay.
UK. A lot of the musicians that we've had on are male.
That's
In the UK, it
interesting.
seems to be sort of it's an industry dominated by males, and I think like
Well, the
you,
industry is dominated by males.
yeah, and I think people like you who are spreading the word of female musicians, it's just great.
Oh, thank you.
Um, so where can for our listeners out there, um, where can they listen to your music?
So my music is everywhere. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, any any platform. It's everywhere. You could go to my website as well at www.stephaniecaprara.com. I'm on YouTube, Instagram.
Oh, brilliant. Do you also put like your lessons on YouTube as well, or is that just something you do privately?
I do it privately, but I do have a channel called The Singing Ukulele. And there are some fun tutorials, like ukulele tutorials to learn. So, yeah, if anybody is interested, check out The Singing Ukulele on
Oh, I'm,
YouTube.
I'm gonna check that out. um, so for our listeners out there, thank you for listening. Um, make sure you check out Stephanie's music on all the streaming services on her website and on YouTube. Um, and thank you for listening, and thank you, Stephanie, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Gemma.
It's our pleasure. And yeah, good luck with everything and with the music next year.
Thank you so much. You too.
And for our listeners, and goodbye, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.